we've got another new lighting setup. Look, I'm playing around with things. I think this is how I'm going to do it. I want to have pictures and stuff behind me to make the background look pretty. But there you go. Vincent, you want to come in, didn't you? You're in a really very pesty little mood today, aren't you, mate? Hey, aren't you? Shall I just do the intro with him? Now look, of course, F1 drivers are more relatable than ever, right? But, am I boring you? But it can't hurt to get that little bit of extra insight that you don't get when they're like live streaming, all that good stuff. And of course they don't all do that. So I thought today would be a good opportunity to gloss over, essentially, because there's 20 drivers, so there's quite a few to get through. All of their hometowns, where they grew up, where they were born, a little bit of information about said hometowns, so we get a bit more of an idea of who else maybe is from there. There's some interesting stories along the way. I will be listing these in order from their distance away from what I like to call ground zero, the centre of the world being, of course, Romford. Romford is a very significant place in the world of this channel. Of course, it's the hometown of Richard Madeley, Frankie Bridge from the Saturdays, Tony Adams, Joe O'Meara from S Club 7, Frank Lampard, Johnny Herbert, yes, the Johnny Herbert, Dream podcast guest, and of course, me. Alright, so we're starting off with Daniel Ricciardo. He is from Perth in Western Australia. Now, if you don't know, Perth is known for being bloody hot, but it's also lovely. I really want to go. As for some other famous Pertherinos, as I like to call them, you've got Catherine Langford, who was the girl in 13 Reasons Why. You've got the late Heath Ledger as well. He was from Perth. And you've got Kim Illman, who we had on the podcast, F1 photographer extraordinaire. Don't forget to check him out if you haven't already. And of course, most importantly, Pendulum, baby. And as the crow flies, and all these distances will be as the crow flies, Perth is 8,983 miles from Romford. As for football team, Perth Glory, they're actually pretty decent. They won the A-League last season. They won the finals. So fair play, Perth. Okay, next on the list we have Sergio Perez, who is from Guadalajara in Mexico, of course. And according to Wikipedia, and this is straight off Wikipedia, okay, apparently it's known for tequila and mariachi music. Way to absolutely nail a stereotype there. And it's home to a few dons, not just Sergio. You've got Canelo Alvarez, who of course is a professional boxer, absolute brick ass. And you've got Little P, Javier Hernandez. I wish he was still at West Ham, not gonna lie. Guadalajara is 5,660 miles from Romford, and the local team is CD Guadalajara. They're 10th in Liga MX. Okay, on to next. We've got two drivers, because they're both from the same city, place. We've got Lance Stroll and Nicholas Latifi. I know there's a few Montrealistas, I'm going to call you that, watching the channel, so I hope you're enjoying the video. And yeah, both the boys from the French-speaking capital of Canada. As well as them, you've got Chris Benoit, famous wrestler, Eugene Bouchard, who's a famous tennis player, and of course, most importantly, you've got Harley Morenstein, the more bacon strips guy from bloody Epic Mealtime. And Montreal is 3,253 miles as the crow flies from Romford. As for football, Montreal Impact are the team. Thierry Henry, legend, fair play, is in charge. And I didn't even know until I checked this out, they've got Bojan and Victor Wanyama at Montreal at the minute. That's a team, mate. That's a team. Next on the list, we have Daniel Kvyat, everyone's favourite torpedo. He is from Ufa in Russia. It's the capital of the Bashkortostan region of Russia, and apparently it's considered to have been founded in 1574 when Ivan the Terrible built a bloody fortress there. Also, they have 3 ice hockey teams in Ufa. Where are my Canadians at? And it actually seems like all of their notable people are ice hockey players, so I don't really know any of the other names, sorry. Ufa is 2,261 miles from Romford. Their football team is FC Ufa, and they almost qualified for the Europa League last season. They were in the qualification bit, but they got knocked out by Rangers. Next, we have my favourite name to say. Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas. Oh, it just rolls off the tongue. Valtteri is from Nastola in Finland, which in 2016 was swallowed up by the nearby city of Lahti. Became all one big thing. And funny story, well, it's not actually funny. Lahti's kind of nickname is the Chicago of Finland because they've got a real crime problem, apparently. Now, I couldn't really find any other people from the Stola that I'd heard of, but Lahti, you've got Jari Litmanen, who, iconic Finnish footballer, arguably the best Finnish footballer of all time. Now, Stola is 1,117 miles from Romford, so Valtteri, if you start walking now, you can maybe get here by kind of a couple of months. And the Stola doesn't really have a football club, but Lahti does. FC Lahti are in the Finnish top flight, and they're currently sitting 8th. All right, the Iceman himself, Kimi Räikkönen, he's from Espoo in Finland, which is the second biggest city in Finland. I had no idea. And it's only about an hour and a half drive from Valtteri's neck of the woods, so they're not too far away from each other. Now, there is someone else who is particularly significant in Formula 1, who is from Espoo. The name J.J. Leto didn't mean anything to me, but 2 times Le Mans winner and F1 racer from 1989 to 1994. Espoo is 1,110 miles from Romford, and their club, FC Espoo, is in the Finnish second division, which is the 3rd tier of Finnish football. So considering they're the second biggest city in the country, they're kind of lacking, aren't they? Antonio Giovinazzi, he's from the southeast of Italy. He's from a place called Martina Franca. Beautiful looking little place. Gotta say. And I couldn't really find any other notable names. It's just Tonio flying that little Martina Franca flag. This is interesting. So Martina Franca is 1,107 miles from Romford. So only 3 miles closer than Kimi in Finland. And their club, ASD Martina Calcio 1947, are in the 7th tier of Italian football and have only existed since 2016, when the previous club had to be liquidated. Okay, Carlos Sainz from Madrid in Spain, famous Real Madrid fan. We've seen plenty of pictures of him donning the white of Real. In terms of famous people from Madrid, you've got plenty to choose from. You've got Enrique Iglesias, Penelope Cruz, Rafa Benitez, and of course, the boss man, Rafa Nadal. Madrid is 793 miles from Romford, and do I need to talk about their football pedigree? Probably not. Charles Leclerc is from Monaco, the Monegasque driver. Monte Carlo is the dream, hence why so many drivers live there, plus tax. Paul di Resta to Max Verstappen to Alex Albon to Nico Rosberg, all call Monaco home. Monaco is 637 miles from Romford, and, well, their football team was very, very good. They won Liga in 2017. Since then, though, not been so great. They're currently 9th in what is the now cancelled Liga season. So, all right, K-Mag. He's from Roskilde in Denmark, which, of course, is very famous for having a bloody massive music festival. Other than that, obviously, his dad, Jan, was also born in Roskilde, so they've kept it kind of local to that area. And it is 562 miles from Romford. FC Roskilde play in the Danish First Division, which is the 2nd tier of their football kind of ladder, and they're currently sitting 9th, so Then we have Romain Grosjean, born in Geneva, French mum, Swiss dad, dual citizenship. He's decided to run under the French flag. I mean, it is like right on the border, to be fair. But obviously, Geneva is very well known. It's like the United Nations hub. Very pretty city, very rich city. And also, Philippe Senderos is from Geneva. Yes, Arsenal legend to all you Arsenal fans out there. He's a Genevan. Geneva is 459 miles from Romford, and their main team, football team, is Servette FC. And they just got promoted from the kind of 2nd to now the top division in Switzerland. Sebastian Vettel hails from Heppenheim in southern Germany, a proper historically rich little town. Looking at it, there's loads of lovely little old buildings, very pretty. As for notable people, well, there's a lot of doctors, a lot of very, very noggin heavy people, and then Seb, which he also seems like a very intelligent bloke. So clearly, there's big brains in Heppenheim. Heppenheim is 394 miles from Romford, and the local football team FC Starkenbergia Heppenheim, they're actually one of Germany's oldest clubs, but unfortunately now at the moment they're just kind of like a little local team. They don't have a big kind of national presence. Alright, this is an interesting one. Max Verstappen. So, Max has got this kind of Belgian-Dutch, bit of both, best of both worlds, you know what I mean? So, I'm putting his hometown down here as Brie in Belgium, even though that's not where he was actually born. He was born in Hasselt in Belgium. But according to his wiki page, he resided in Brie in his early years, which sounds dreamy to me, you know what I mean? I love a bit of Brie. Now, apparently he said he always felt more Dutch, even though he was born and raised in Belgium. And his mum was Belgian, he wasn't as close to his mum, which was kind of sad in a way, but also you kind of understand. Now, Brie is a city, but it's not a huge city, but there are some very interesting people from Brie. So, you've got Kim Clijsters, who's a tennis legend. I remember her smashing Wimbledon. You've got Thibaut Courtois, Real Madrid goalkeeper, and of course F1 esports hero, bloody legend. And the maddest one, you've got Johnny Galecki. Yes, Johnny Galecki. I'm talking about Leonard Hofstadter from The Big Bang Theory, is also from Brie, which is where Max Verstappen's from. Esteban Ocon, he's from Évreux in France. Definitely pronounced that wrong. In terms of notable people, there's a couple of footballers that I'd heard of anyway, but I couldn't really find anyone else other than that. You've got Upamecano, who plays for RB Leipzig at the moment, defender, and you've got Sarr, who plays for Bordeaux. Évreux is 181 miles from Romford, and it has a team in the National League 3 Group J, Évreux FC 27, whatever the hell all that means. Alright, Pierre Gasly, the gas man. He was born in Rouen, so actually very close to Esteban. You drive through Rouen to get to my aunt and uncle's place, so I've been through Rouen a couple of times. Nice little place. Notable people, you've got David Trezeguet, French international football legend, and you've got their old PM, François Hollande. It is also where Joan of Arc famously met her end. Rouen, as the crow flies, is 153 miles from Romford, and their best football team is US Quevilly-Rouen, who play in the third tier of French football and are currently sitting 14th. And now we've got the British boys, starting with Lando Norris, the meme lord himself. Born in Bristol. I love Bristol. Been to Bristol loads of times. Beautiful city. In terms of notable people, you got plenty. You got Banksy, you got Russell Howard, you got Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones, you got Judd Trump, old snooker player. I know Aldas loves a bit of snooker. And you've got my absolute angel, my hero, Jamesy May. Bristol is 120 miles from Romford, which is mad to think that Rouen's only 33 miles further away as the crow flies. Weird. But anyway, and football-wise, they've got Bristol City, Bristol Rovers. City are definitely the better team at the minute. Flirted with promotion to the Premier League a few times recently, but never quite made it. Now we've got 3 more drivers left. Georgie Russell, Kings Lynn, Norfolk. Very pretty, very nice little place as far as I've heard. Martin Brundle is also from Kings Lynn. Connection. You know what I mean? 82 miles from Romford, and Kings Lynn Town FC are in the National League North, which is the 6th tier of English football. Alright, we've got 2 drivers left. And actually, the driver that's closest to me is probably not the one you're thinking, because it's not the one that I fanboy over all the time. Number 2, the second closest driver to Romford, I can't believe I've built this video around Romford, is Alex Albon. Alex grew up in Bures, however you pronounce this, which is right near Colchester. Very pretty looking little village. So I'm going to take his hometown location as being Colchester. You've got Dermot O'Leary, loves a bit of X Factor and The Voice and all that nonsense. And you've got Darren Day, who's a bit of a British TV pop culture hero, you know what I mean, from back in the day. Both from Colchester. It is the oldest recorded town in Britain and was the Roman capital of Britain under the name Camulodunum. And that was till it got wrecked in Boudicca's rebellion in AD 61. History, boy. Colchester United, they're an alright team. League 2, sitting 6th at the minute. They're big scalp. They beat Spurs in the EFL Cup, didn't they, last season? Beat you boys on penalties. Unlucky Spurs fans. It was a great day, not going to lie. And there we go. Last but by no means least, Lewis Hamilton. The Stevenage boy, the Hertfordshire town, is the closest. Colchester was 37.5 miles from Romford, but Stevenage is just 28. Now, Lewis has often discussed his kind of less than ideal growing up situation. Stevenage is one of those kind of middle England towns where, you know, there's good parts, there's bad parts. There's nothing particularly special about it. Sorry, Stevenage. Romford's no better. Also, the Asda in Stevenage famously gave Lewis Hamilton a car park space. But actually, one of my best mates, Tommy, is from that neck of the woods, and he tells me that that isn't a thing anymore. That's long gone. Very much a publicity stunt, which kind of did its job, hence why I'm still talking about it in 2020. Famous residents from Stevenage, beyond Lewis, of course. You've got Jack Wilshere, who's at West Ham at the minute, and such a frustrating player. Ian Poulter, who of course has also featured in some of the virtual Grand Prix, which is good to see. Pro golfer. And Ed Westwick, who's a very handsome actor, apparently, because I feel like every single female I know fancies him. And as for their football team, it's not great. They were bottom of League Two, and that got cancelled. So they'll be in the National League next year. Sorry, Stevenage Borough. But yeah, this video has been more than long enough, but I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you found this one interesting. Again, like, subscribe if you have. Next weekend, we're all gassed. I've got big things planned. It's going to be fun. My name's Tommo. This is Tommo F1 YouTube channel. Thank you very much, as ever, for watching. Have a good one. Ta-da.